Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Sunday to you and your family. We're going to take a look, of course, again at Ethereum. Once again, trying to make sure that this is somewhat of a daily driver for you guys. Also important too, because we did short ETH recently, kind of want to see where we're at in that general sense of things and kind of go from there. So if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love to teach people to trade. And obviously, if you learn something here, feel free to comment below. If you want to learn a lot more, though, I do have a trading academy, community, and signal group. Link in the description below. Obviously, check that out in your own time. So, what we want to look at here at Ethereum is just a small handful of things. Of course, if you're not familiar with my Bitcoin videos, it's running fairly synonymous with Bitcoin because we've seen some nonsensical stuff from Bitcoin the last 24 hours, more so in the last hour or two, where it had a significant spike up and then down. Same thing happened with Ethereum, of course. Most alts kind of got impacted by that, but generally speaking, it was a very strong increase followed by a very strong decrease, and now it's kind of averaging itself right back out where it left off. So we kind of want to look at that. We also want to look at some support levels too, because obviously this support level here from before is relevant here in that sense, where you can see pretty much right at the price action, we're seeing that significant little bit of a resistance. So, all right, what we want to do is look at some normal stuff and work our way down. Once again, I prefer to take a look at the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. It's pretty much the majority of what I do based on my trading style, because I like to buy today, basically sell within 24 to 48 hours for profit, and of course, go from there. That's kind of where I'm at. That's why I like to use these time frames. I have done day trading in the past, but honestly, there's a lot more work involved, and I don't really love that feeling. So, again, mine are more longer than a day trade, but shorter than a swing trade. All right, and that's the reason why I like these time frames. So looking at the daily, we can see RSI is still not over 70, which is fine. Still more room for growth. It does look like it wants to try to take off based on the fact that we're testing this resistance level. There's also a good chance we could see a breakdown as well, because that is a bit of an overextension. So the daily isn't telling us a tremendous amount, honestly, at this point, just telling us that we're kind of close to 70 on the RSI, so it is a bit on the overextended side for lack of better terms, but by no means is it overextended, because we've had about 3 days of consolidation at this exact price point. So it's just kind of that tipping point. Does it go up or does it go down from here? It's honestly a flip of a coin at this point based on how Bitcoin's been behaving. Ethereum is following suit, so we just got to be mindful of that. All right, so again, that's kind of where we're at there in that sense. Let's go ahead and take a look, of course, at the 4 hour, see if there's any better information here for us. And we can see RSI is right between 50 and 70, not really giving us any indication that it wants to go up or down, but still considered quote-unquote more bullish on the midterm. And then, of course, we look at the moving averages. You can see the 50-day simple moving average working as a potential support, but the 20 potentially working as a resistance. And I say potentially because it's coming above and below consistently. It hasn't truly determined itself to go either direction, but Bitcoin right now is kind of getting rejected by that 20-day simple moving average as well. So it's kind of par for the course, I guess you could say. But generally speaking, there's nothing that we can see here. Even if you look at the MACD, even though it is diverging, it's still starting to lose its momentum. So there is potential for a shift in momentum here, of course, but generally speaking, there's a lot of I wouldn't say indecision, but there's not a lot that you can really extract from this time frame, basically telling us there isn't much going on here. And that's kind of how the market is right now. Honestly, it's kind of weird. Weekends are kind of odd like that. Low volume creates really strange behavior. And take a look at this candlestick here. You can kind of see just how ridiculous that was. Price action shot up, shot right back down, bounced off support right there about 1690, and came right back up. And now it's trending around 1720. So in essence, we could see the price action continue higher as we continue to, retest these levels. So if we kind of just go like this, you can see there is somewhat of a pennant pattern forming. And since it originated here, the likely direction is up from here, right? There's that sense. But there's also a handful of other things that we've seen recently, such as the double doji candle on the daily, or at least a doji followed by a gravestone. Those are all things signaling a reversal as well, because it's having difficulty passing this point. So 24,000 for Bitcoin is synonymous with right around 1720 for Ethereum. So honestly, at this point, it could go either way. It's really hard to have a definitive direction just based on the simple fact that it's been going sideways for so long that we've seen Bitcoin break up or break down based on these types of patterns. The likely culprit would be to go up, of course, for Bitcoin, just in a general sense. The fact of the matter that it's done very well for itself. We're over some key level resistances. We're over that 50-day simple moving average, so it's quote unquote bullish. But on the same accord, is that a guarantee? How's that gonna hold? We'll find out eventually. Right here in Ethereum, the last thing we wanted to kind of take a look at would be the cloud. And this is something that's a little different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is below the cloud currently, whereas kind of giving us the indication it wants to continue to stay below 24,000. Right now, obviously, just in the last couple of minutes, we can see the price action shot up above that level, and now we're at about 1730. So again, no guarantees. When you see the price action come above the cloud, it doesn't mean you just get in and go and stay in. It really just implies that we want to wait a little bit longer to get more consistency above that level, and then we can kind of use that as a potential catalyst to keep the price action moving forward. So again, all in all, not terrible, but also one of those situations where we're kind of right there. I mean, like, we can see the conversion lines above the baseline. The lagging span is almost free and clear of price action. So we've got some indications here that the price action wants to continue higher for Ethereum, but there's also that looming doubt of Bitcoin potentially wanting to reject off 24,000 and come back down. So to me, if we kind of add that all together, I would say there is no good direction at this point. I would just recommend, if you have a position, maybe take some profits if you're in the profit, and effectively let the rest ride. And more importantly, just make sure you probably don't take a position now until we have a definitive direction, because we don't have any confirmation. We're kind of in this indecisive area, and it's never a place that I feel confident in taking a position. But I do feel, though, that we are trending closer towards a breakout of either direction. And the problem with the situation that we have right now is that, Bitcoin is coming up on a resistance, but Ethereum's kind of using that as a support. And it's kind of this conflict of information, and even though Ethereum's done very well for itself outside of Bitcoin, it's still reliant on it for the moment. So we got to respect that too. And I would just say, kind of, no position is a good position right now. That's probably the best way to go. Wait until the market opens tomorrow. Let's see what the pre-market tells us, as well as the dollar index and the NASDAQ. Those are all things kind of help us understand which direction we're going to go. If we get a gap up in the market, Ethereum's going to take off. If we get a gap down, Ethereum's going to sell off, because it's a very profitable coin right now, and it's one of those coins that has a lot more profits to be taken. So keep that in mind. The inverse pairing also works in that sense, whereas it's roughly about 1.5 to 2x of Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes down by 5%, we could see a 10% correction from Ethereum. All right, so again, just some things to kind of think about, but I hope this helped you come to maybe perhaps an informed decision. I know it wasn't very decisive here today, but that's what weekends are. They tend to do that. But to me, seeing this, these type of candlesticks here, like basically a doji followed by, well, at least Bitcoin has a gravestone here from yesterday that closed, it seems fairly ominous, and the fact that we could likely see a correction from Bitcoin tomorrow. That's my speculation. I feel like we're going to see that. Again, it's really up to you on how you want to do this, but Ethereum is a profitable coin, so there definitely could be some corrections that take place. When you think about it, no less than 5 days ago, we were 30% lower in value. Okay, so that 30% could lead to some type of correction, which I still feel we were going to be able to hold a support at 1600. But again, if we were to lose 1690, that would probably be the next appropriate direction, right? So 1600 as a rough estimate would be the likely bottom for Ethereum if we do lose this current support at 1690. All right, so again, that's kind of where we're at. Not in bad shape, but not phenomenal either. It's kind of fair to Midland. So, all right, I hope you found benefit once more. Thanks again for joining me. If you want to become a better trader, again, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. Look forward to working with you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again for your time.